Mic check. Hello. Mic check. Hello. Mic check. Is it a bomb?
5 मिनट के बाद बैठ सकता हूँ। मैं भी आ रहा हूँ, उधर रख लेंगे।
Okay.
I don't know. But
थोड़ा किस
Good morning, everyone. I am Anushka Jain with my co-host Sadhyan Pujari. On behalf of School of Human Settlements, XIM University, I extend a warm welcome to the third plenary session of the 9th Annual Research on Cities Summit, ARCS 9.0. Some of you have joined us today, so let me start with a brief introduction to our school and its flagship program, the MBA in Urban Management and Governance, the MBA UMG as we call it. Launched almost a decade ago by XIM University, the MBA UMG is the first and still the unique program of its kind in the country. It's a management plus program combining management skills and their urban applications and is specially designed to respond to the growing professional needs of the urban development sector. SHS also offered a cutting-edge master's in urban regional planning, the MURP program, and a sizable PhD program in both urban management and in planning. We are proud of our alumni now adding value in all major government programs, SPVs, consultant firms, think tanks, and research organizations. As part of a commitment to widening the pool of knowledge and insights into sustainable urbanization, SHS organizes the annual research on City Summit ARCS. This edition of ARCS explores questions in sustainable urban futures from policy, planning and management approaches. An important aspect of sustainable urban development is to maintain a balance between the new and the old, especially in historic cities. This HSSR Samiksha plenary session focuses on sustainable urban development and heritage management. We have with us eminent speaker who is well known for leading innovative urban development initiatives in this state, many starting with the historic cities of Puri and Bhubaneswar. May I request our eminent guests to kindly take their seats on the dais? I also request Professor Kajri Mishra to join them.
Allow me to introduce our honored speakers fully. Shri G. Mathivatanan is presently Additional Chief Secretary and Director General of State Administrative Training Academy, Government of Odisha, India. He headed the Housing and Urban Development Department for over a decade till 2024 and led several urban flagship initiatives such as universal access to piped water supply, 24 by 7 drink from tap mission, the Odisha Livable Habitat Mission, JAGA, decentralized solid waste management system, decentralized septage management system, Garima, a scheme for dignity and safety of manual scavengers, and urban wage employment scheme which is known as Mukta. The Jaga mission that was conceptualized and implemented under his leadership has received several global awards, including the prestigious World Habitat Award in 2019 and 2023, and Asia Pacific Housing Forum Innovation Award in 2021. Jaga Mission is the world's largest slum land rights and upgradation program, impacting the lives of 1.7 million slum dwellers across Odisha. Mr. Mathi anchored the non-sewered sanitation solution and the drink from tap mission in Odisha, two globally acclaimed initiatives in the water and sanitation that serve as the torchbearer for the developing world. Mr. Mathi is the architect of the Drink from Tap mission, under which water is supplied on 24 by 7 basis, benefiting 2.6 million population so far in 24 cities of Odisha. Under his leadership, decentralized approach with community partnership has become the DNA of Odisha model of transformative urban governance, with special focus on the upliftment of the marginalized communities. He is also a member of the Advisory Board of International Water Association on Inclusive Urban Sanitation, an advisory committee member in the Global Advocacy for the Health, Safety, and Dignity of Sanitation Workers of Sustainable Sanitation Alliance. He has authored a book, People First, How Odisha's Drink from Tap mission quenched every thirst, and also co-authored a second, Decentralization and Empowerment, the Odisha Model for Urban Development. I request Prachi Sahu to welcome Sri Mathivatanan with a growing plant, a symbol of green hope.
Dr. K.K. Pandey, Professor, Urban Management and Coordinator, Center for Urban Studies at the Indian Institute of Public Administration, holds a PhD in Urban Finance and a PhD Diploma in Housing Planning from Institute for Housing and Urban Development Studies, Netherlands, 1985. He has also completed an advanced course in urban management from University of Birmingham, 1994, a course of population studies from EWC, University of Hawaii, USA, 1991, and an online course on municipal finance in 2001 from UNESCAP and University of Cardiff, UK. Dr. Pandey has intensively worked on urban management and finance during last 4 decades and coordinated empirical research, training and advisory services on matters related to urban governance, infrastructure and housing. He has also several publications to his credit. Dr. Pandey has been member of 7 UN expert committees constituted by UN Habitat, UNESCO, and UNESCAP on urban finance, governance, training of trainers, leadership, pro-poor PPP, sustainable development, and urban management. He has been also member of 7 expert committees of United Nations and other committee in the Government of India, states and metro cities. He has also headed a study group of the Government of India on economic activity in National Capital Region. I request Lakshita Gupta to welcome Dr. Pandey with a young plant, a symbol of sustainability. Moderator of this session is Dr. Kajri Mishra, Professor and Dean, School of Human Settlements, XIM University. Dr. Mishra holds a PhD in City and Regional Planning and has studied in India and the USA. Her work spans habitat planning, management and governance across urban and rural settlements. In last decade, she has been the founding dean of 2 schools of XIM University, the School of Rural Management and now the School of Human Settlements. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the third plenary session of this conference. We are indeed very fortunate and happy to have with us one of the leading architects of very innovative urban development initiatives, not just in Odisha, but which has become a model for across India and has been also uh, taken up for application by the central government. We also have with us Professor Pandey, who with his wide experience and exposure to a variety of initiatives over the years can be a excellent expert counterfoil and provide a wider perspective on how such initiatives can actually relate to sustainability and sustainable urban development. So without more ado, I think we should spend the time listening to Mathi sir, who has been our, uh, who has also been a friend, philosopher, and guide to the school and to all of us. And I must mention that the idea of not really starting a master's in urban and regional planning program, but a MBA in urban management and governance has come from him. He was instrumental in convincing the vice chancellor about the format that we required and pushing him to start this very unique program. It took us 2 years to design the curriculum and actually to launch it. But the idea and the push has come from him. So we are, I think all of us owe a round of applause and gratitude to him for this. So, sir, over to you. May I request you to go ahead? Yes. There is a pointer, and I think it's there, sir.
I need a power pointer.
It is there.
Yeah, power pointer, sir. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Good morning to all of you. Respected Director IIPA, my senior colleague, Mr. S.N. Tripathi, Professor Kajri ma'am, Dr. Pandey, Professor XIMB. Right. I would have suggested that there also, if you can switch off the focus lights. Hmm. Give more focus to the women. and my dear friends pursuing the urban program here. At the outset, I would like to thank Professor Kajri ma'am for inviting me to this, giving me this opportunity. This is the second time I am attending this conference. It has been long ago. In the meanwhile, she has forgotten me. So I came here sometime in 2017 or 18. So it has been about 6-7 years. So and she has been a big support for our initiative. She has been a board of director. She is in the board of directors of one of our programs. So we are very closely associated with your institution. So my suggestion to her, to the university, to start the program is based on capacity constraints to meet our own issues. So we didn't have. So I'm happy that it has come to this, and I wish the institution to grow further and become a front runner in supplying the urban managers to manage the cities in the country and to other needy countries also. So as my colleagues in the urban sector, so you are all well aware of the complexities in the urban sector, the challenges, formidable challenges. And many of these challenges we thought that which we inherited. So many of these issues we don't create, we only add to it. So these are all legacy issues which we inherit and add some more as our contribution and leave it to the successor to further manage with it and pass it on to the next successor. So that's how the chain continues. So we thought that why not attempting to resolve these issues? We started understanding these issues, and whatever initiatives we have done are based on that resolve to solve an attempt to solve some of these deemed to be unresolvable, unmanageable. So to give a glimpse of the urban profile of Odisha, there are about 115 cities. So I don't have a slide to watch. It's a test for my memory. Can I get this removed so that I'll see which? Can I get this standee removed? Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. No, it's okay. I think I'll. Yeah. To give the context, urban context, state has about 115 cities, 5 are large corporations, remaining are medium and small towns. About 7 million population living in the cities. But Odisha is one of the states where urbanization is happening very fast. One of the fastest growing, 26% is the decadal growth rate, and it contributes to more than 60% of the state's GDP. The transformative journey is about through decentralized approach with community partnership and empowerment of the community institutions at the grassroots level, the transformation could happen. These are some of the challenges commonly faced by most of the cities. If you travel in any city, within 5 minutes you will encounter a slum. If you don't, then you are not traveling in a city, right? The city has to prove that it's a city. So 5 minutes. That's a basic city, you have to have slum. Drinking water issues, open defecation, the wastewater management, drainage, contaminated drainage, polluted drains mixing with river sources or contaminating the groundwater. Then the solid waste, garbages everywhere, and you will find a garbage hillock. That is another basic structure of a city. You have to have a garbage hillock to feel proud about it. The larger the hillock, the city, and you will have the invisible sanitation workers, manual scavengers, getting into your septic tanks and sewer systems, and many a times dying also. So these are the issues which are common for most of the cities, which we also faced. We'll see slum first. The slum is very close to my heart. I always list it at the top. How do you define a slum? Can somebody help me? What is a slum? How do you define a slum? What are the characteristic features of a slum? Absence of housing, proper housing, absence of lack of clean water, access to water, absence of sanitation, right? You list things which are absent, then you will find a slum, right? You list what are the essential things required for a decent living. If they are not there, and it's a slum. That's how you define. Absence of something is called slum, right? So these things would be there in all the slums to a varying degree. So why there is a slum? When did it come? How long it is there? It will be there forever, but how long it has been there? When it started? If you see Google Earth, if you see decadal, Saliasahi area, Chandrasekharpur area, right? You'll be surprised to see that Saliasahi is a recent phenomenon. In 70s, Saliasahi was not there. In 80s, slowly here and there, the map will show you evidence, empirical evidence, and 90 few houses. Then from 2000 onwards, there is a growth. When this, because Chandrasekharpur started growing only that time. When the growth of the city happens, the growth of the slum happens. You are seeding the slum there. When there is a growth, where there is an investment, there is a projects, then growth, the slum starts. It starts from one house, then it multiplies. So we make investment, government makes investment, we start the project, and we also lay the foundation for the slum also, right? So there is no proper policy, there is no policy on affordable housing. It's basically, so why there is a slum, there is no affordable housing. So there is then no governance. Why all these things are absent? There is no governance there because it is an encroachment. The approach of the government is that it has come on encroached land. You are encroachers, you are lawbreakers. So there you can't have facilities. So that's the fundamental principle why there is no governance. So who are these slum dwellers? They are the backbones. They are the service providers. They are the auto drivers. They are the bus drivers. They are the car drivers. They are the ones who runs our family kitchen, cleaning, cooking, gardening, everything. You name anything. Street vendor, sanitation workers, all of them will come from slum. They are all service providers. So they not only operate and maintain the city systems, whether it is sanitation, water supply, transport, or the trade. They also create. Who built the roads? From where the workers have come? Who built this building? The building is the building where we are sitting now. Who built this? Slum dwellers should have come and built it. Who laid the road? building, everything, every infrastructure, flyover, every infrastructure is built by these workers, these migrant workers who migrate from the nearby rural areas and come and start living here. And do we provide them home? Do we have a hostels for them? PG hostel, UG hostel, married hostel? Hmm? Do you have guest house? Do we have quarters? Do we have bungalows? What do we have? We only have work and we need worker. We only have bulldozer. Sir said rightly, we only have bulldozer. And we don't bulldoze it when they start construction. That's the beauty of it. Right? Not soon after, sir. We'll wait. When there is a demand for that land, then I will decide. You construct house wherever you want. The easiest thing that can be if in a possible in a city is to encroach. Easiest thing. The moment I go to a Tahsildar or an RI or to an Amin to find a land for constructing a public toilet, leave alone toilet, urinal, right? Then they'll say that there is no land. The first response would be, there is no land. I can very well go and put up a slum there. He will not mind. When I ask for land, he will say there is no land. We can't construct even urinal. Land will not be. Officially, land will not be. But all these slums have come up in the same area, the same Amin, same RI, same Tahsildar, same revenue administration, same urban administration, same government allow these houses to be, these informal settlements to come up, these slums to come up. And Salia, I'm sure many of you would have seen Salia Sai. How many have not seen? I think Kajri ma'am should organize a guided tour to Salia Sai. Huh? How can you complete your MBA urban management without seeing a Salia Sai? They go, na? Take me as your guide. I will explain. I'm just sitting outside. That's the other side of Salia Sai. I'm a neighbor of Salia Sai. So you take me. Huh? Yes, I'll take you. I'll explain. I'll explain urban issue challenges there, urban issues there, urban transformation there. And Salia Sai, for your information, outside, yeah. For them also you need, yeah. Even within Bhubaneswar also many will not have seen. Who will go to a slum? Tell me. Why should you go to a slum? Slum is considered to be a black spot in a city. You don't like to see a slum. You want slum dweller, you want that worker, but you don't want slum there. So you want slum dwellers to be airdropped, right? Morning 6 o'clock, my house has to be opened, kitchen has to be opened, cleaned, milk has to be bought, right? And lit the stove. Get me the coffee by 6 o'clock. Otherwise, I'll get trembling, right? So the cook has to come from where? You come from wherever you want. But 6 o'clock, I need coffee, right? But where will they come? They are all migrant workers. See, they look wherever they get a job, they look for a place and put up a small hut there and then start living there. And no worker is alone. They have a family. They have a husband or that person has a wife. They have children. So the children have to go to school. They have a living. That is how the slum comes. We create the slum. We are the creators of slum, not they. They are only occupants. We are responsible. Government creates the slum. Every government. The system creates. So, Salia Sai, for your information, is the largest slum in Odisha. It is the Dharavi of Odisha. 70,000 population. The Salia Sai, one slum of Bhubaneswar, is larger than 60% of the total cities in the entire country, for your information. There are 5,000 cities in the country. More than 2,500 cities have less population than Salia Sai. Salia Sai should become your laboratory for learning. Your center, you should open a center there. Off-campus center in Salia Sai. Hardcore learning can happen there. You should soil your hands in Salia Sai. You will understand, right? Then all of us will not have that suit coat. Then the dress code would be different. So every life deserves dignity. The choice is either you can bulldoze them, that's the easiest one, evict them, or you can empower them with land rights and a decent living, right? Suppose if you exercise eviction, most of the places, most of the cities exercise eviction. The choice is the easiest choice. Empowering is difficult, right? So what happens if you evict? What happens? You can only bulldoze the house. You can't kill the people, na? You can only bulldoze. What will happen? What will happen? They'll move. They move to another place. You create that new slum. Who creates the new slum? They were there somewhere. So you disturbed that. So that one slum will become 4 slum, 5 slum, 10 slum. Then those slums will start growing. Instead of one slum, you have created 10 slum. That's how it happens. It continues. So you are not solving a problem by bulldozing. You are only deferring a problem, or you are only aggravating the problem. That's how we got 25% of the state lives in slum. Bhubaneswar, you hold your breath. 40% of the population lives in slum. Can you believe it? 40% of the Bhubaneswar population, 33% of population of Cuttack lives in slum. The larger the city size, the larger the slum population. Asia has the 60% of the world's slums. Asia, Africa together have more than 85%. That's the enormity of the slum problem. So Odisha chose empowerment. We have done enough eviction as it could never resolve. So let us try empowerment. That was started in 2017 with Odisha Land Rights to Slum Dwellers Act 2017 to confer land right, to provide grant land rights on in situ basis. Please underline in situ basis. It's not on relocation basis. Eviction is the most commonly practiced. The second common is granting land right but not in situ. Constructing a house, constructing a multi-storied complex near a burial ground or a cremation ground, because that is the only place available for the slum dwellers. So if you ask land to the Tahsildar, he will give only land adjacent to the cremation ground. That would be applicable for even an A&M center, sub-center, health center, whatever you ask, they will give a land closer to where that's the unwanted land. So you will find, so somebody will get a civil contract, some brother-in-law of somebody will get a contract. So it would be basically a real estate project in the name of slum dwellers, not for the benefit of the slum dweller, for the benefit of the constructing agency and others. So ultimately, you get a multi-storied complex. They will never move. They get allotment. They never move, or at the most, when the city grows there, they may rent it out. So your slum continues, or they move to some other place, occupy a fresh patch of land, and grow. That's how it happens. So Odisha decided to grant land rights and upgrade the slum as a livable habitat to ensure decent living. So now it gives guaranteed rights, gives an address proof, it gives us sense of recognition that the slum dwellers are recognized, and in that process their place is recognized. And so far more than 250,000 land rights have been given. That is equivalent to more than 12 lakh slum dwellers in the state, against about 17 lakh slum dwellers. We have about 2,919 slums in the entire state. An enumeration has been done. This is the only state where an enumeration of survey has been slum has been done. If you ask any state, no state can say how many slums they have. No city can say how many slums they have, because we don't count it. We don't survey it. There is no numbers are not known. When I say that Bhubaneswar has 40%, we have the numbers. We have done digitally. It is available. The mines of informations are available with us, thanks to the Jaga mission. No other agency would be having so much data. If somebody wants to do research, it is an ample opportunity for you. Can do a lot of research in all these things, including the slum dwellers empowerment. We have 2,919 slums in the state, out of which more than 1,000. What is written? 1654 is not visible here. More than 16 slums have been upgraded. Infrastructure, amenities, and services have been upgraded. They are now on par with any other area. They are called livable habitats. Who has done the upgradation? It is not a civil contractor who has done it. It is not a corporator who has done it. It is not a JE who has done it. It is the slum dweller association of that particular slum. They have done it. The work order has been given to them. They did it. Land rights also they have. They are part and parcel of the survey. And 2 lakh, remember 2.53 or 57 lakh land rights have been given. Not even one litigation, one dispute so far. That's the strength of the process. Land is such a sensitive, such an emotive issue, right? We have how within the family, how many cases have gone to Supreme Court, right? For decades, for generations, the cases are fought for the land, right? 2,54,000, 57,000 land rights have been given. Not even a one single case. The reason is use of technology and their participation. The entire process is driven by the Slum Dweller Association. It's not driven by the RI or Amin or Tahsildar. It's not done by the Revenue Administration. It's done by the Slum Dweller Association. Community, we talk about beneficiary participation. This is one program where community partnership is part and part. It's an integral to the program. That's the reason behind the success. The success recipe is nothing but the participation, the involvement of the beneficiary. The SDA, the Slum Dweller Association, is behind everything. Then, what is that? Access to basic amenities, water supply, sanitation, access to toilet. In the entire state, 98%, 99% of the households have access to tap water at house. In the slums, it is 97%, more than 97%, and 88% of the houses have household toilets. I'm not talking about the community toilet or public toilet. Household toilet within there. It's meant for them, exclusive use. 88%. Under the Swachh Bharat mission, but an SBM plus. We have a state top-up, Jaga mission top-up of that. That over and above the intervention by Jaga mission ensured that 88% of the slum households also have. So this is the community empowerment process. They have been, the Slum Dweller Association have been elevated to the level of 4th tier of governance. First tier, at Delhi. Second tier, at Bhubaneswar. Third tier, at the city level. Fourth tier, at the community level, at the slum level. So all these Slum Dweller associations are treated as 4th tier of government, and there is an MOU between the city commissioner and the Slum Dweller Association president, recognizing them as the 4th tier of government, recognizing them as the partner in the development and the governance process. There is an MOU under which all the programs are routed through the Slum Dweller Association. The governance, city government at that level happens through the Slum Dweller Association. So all these Slum Dweller Associations, all slums have the association, all slums are registered, all slums have bank accounts, all slums, the associations have been, the capacity have been built, trained multiple number of times on various aspects. And more than 15,000 slum leaders have been trained on various aspects of governance and development. You can see some of these slums in from some of our ULBs. You can see the smiling faces on the children. Bill Gates visited one of our slum last year, and he has praised for the intervention. He said that this is the model for the globe. This is how it should be done. And next is the sanitation. Garbage is the most familiar urban problem for all of us, seemingly unresolvable. It's a huge challenge solving it. It's a recurrent problem. You can't have a one-time solution. You have to create a system. You have to operate, maintain, sustain the system, and it has to be 24/7. It is almost like supplying water 24/7. Sanitation also has to be a 24/7 intervention. So all these things are known to everyone. Now we have what is the transformation that has happened? Now we have 495 well centers. We call that as well center. We don't call them as garbage centers, garbage processing. They are all well centers, converting the waste into wealth. It has the MCC, the micro composting center, which converts the wet waste into compost. That's called Mo Katho, and MRF, material recovery facility for the dry waste to recover the recyclables, non-recyclables, which cannot be composted. Recyclables are sent to the recycle chain, value chain, and non-recyclable, which are harmful for the environment, are sent to the cement factories and power plants for using as secondary fuel. And all ULBs have signed MOU with these cement factories and power plants for accepting those non-recyclable and using that as a secondary fuel. With that, we are able to remove all those garbage hillocks from all those, including Bhubaneswar. And the NGT has cited Odisha as a model for the biomining and removal of these garbage, the hillocks. You will find, and all these systems are 100% run by women self-help group and transgender groups. 100%, end-to-end value chain. And these are the women groups who are from the neighborhoods, who are from the local communities, who are from those slums formed into self-help group. And the corporation has signed a formal contract with these groups. It's not an order, it's not an engagement. Corporation has not engaged them as worker. Corporation has entrusted them with this responsibility through signing of a contract, which is legally enforceable. It's a legal document. And this is an MRF MCC, you will find. So that's the transformation, and it's a continuous challenge. So door-to-door collection, segregation at the household, transportation to the well center, processing at the well center, and then disposing of that in a scientific manner. This is a process, it's a continuous process. So third major challenge is the liquid waste management. So whatever water supply, what are the liquid waste? Can somebody guide me? What do you call it as a liquid waste? Mercury is a liquid waste. Liquor is a liquid waste. IMFL is a liquid waste, a liquid asset. I just want to wake you up. What is a liquid waste? Move up, sir. Black water and grey water. What is that? Huh? Black water and grey water. Okay, what do you call as a black water? What is black water? I am asking a basic question. You should be asked, huh? Okay. But whatever wastewater comes out of bathroom, kitchen sink, all these things are grey water. Whatever comes from our toilet is a black water. Then you have something called storm water also, runoff water, all those waters, industrial affluent, aquaculture, agriculture, horticulture, all those waste. Primarily, they are the black water and grey water, which are harmful. So what happens? So you have the toilet. When we talk of Swachh Bharat Mission, we remember toilet, right? So toilet construction. So that's the beginning of the process. That's not the end. So you construct a toilet, you start using it also, right? So you use the toilet, then what happens? You flush it. After using, you flush it. Then you mix water and then transport it. Transport where? Where does it reach? At the back of your home, right? At the back of your home only. It reaches your septic tank and stays there, stays comfortably there, right? Comfortably there for few years, right? Depending upon the size of the septic tank. So 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 9 years, 10 years, right? For decades, for generations also. We have seen septic tanks which have never been opened, never been cleaned, right? For generations, it has been there. My grandfather has constructed the septic tank, so we have not touched it. So, an archaeological monument, the memorial kind of thing, right? It has a lot of emotional value, right? It requires periodic cleaning. So, we clean only when it floats, right? When it gives an alarm, otherwise we don't touch it, we forget it. Most of the time we don't remember that there is a septic tank. We only know how to flush it. That's all. Flushing is the end of the story. So that what happens? It contaminates the groundwater. Then the supernatant which comes out, it gets into the drainage, goes. Ultimately, what will happen to the liquid waste? Ultimately, because of the gradient, gravity, it reaches the river sources. That's the low point. It has to reach, whether now, immediately, or whenever there is a rain. So ultimately, it would reach. When it reaches, it mixes with the river water. What will happen? Then thereafter, what happens? That's not the end of the story. Right? And you have hugely contributed to it. Right? It comes back. Whatever you give comes back. Right? So that's one. Another one, if you use that, you will be using that for agriculture. Then what about water supply? Where do you draw your water from? There are two sources of your drinking water. One is the groundwater, another one is river water. So groundwater also your fellow goes and contaminates, right? That also you get. So at least river water you treat to some extent and drink it. Groundwater you don't treat it, right? So it is almost raw without adulteration, right? So river water, what happens? Then you put up an intake well, you draw water, treat it, transmit, distribute, and then supply to your household, and then you drink. So whatever water, so what is the quality of treatment? Can you remove completely? Let us hope that they remove completely, so that we have peace of mind and we can drink the water. Otherwise, how will you? If you accept the reality, truth, then you can't be happy, right? Let us believe that our water supply system, our engineers are wonderful human beings, right? The system is so perfect, and they completely 100% remove all those E. coli, all these fecal substances, and give you the fresh water. Yes, and in Singapore they call that as a new water, right? The water which is treated out of sewage system is called new water, right? And the prime minister drinks it in Australia, in Singapore. He drinks, he demonstrates that it's clean, right? Because he has so much confidence on this system, so much confidence on the efficiency, right? Quality standards of his system. Can we do it? We'll, without calling it as a water, we are drinking it, right? We don't call it. So that's why it is important. Why managing your liquid waste is important, critical, because you draw water from the same source. It contaminates. So it is linked to health and hygiene of the human being, residents. So how did we manage? In 2015, Puri was the only city. In 2014, there was no city in Odisha which had treatment facilities. 100% untreated. 2015, the first treatment plant came in Puri thanks to Nabakalebaro. That pressure, that project which was started about 10 years ago got completed, and then Puri became the only city in Odisha to have underground sewer system, functional sewer system. By that time, the Bhubaneswar and Cuttack projects were abandoned halfway, not halfway, much before that. The contractors ran away. So all of you must be aware of the issues in challenges in underground sewer system. Underground sewer system is the most complex civil engineering construction activity next to underground metro. Most complicated. So it's so difficult, it takes decades. So that's the reason Bhubaneswar Cuttack started but halfway abandoned and ran away, and no other city had. So we had to, again, based on the experience in Puri, we restarted in Bhubaneswar Cuttack, and today we have functional underground sewer system in Bhubaneswar and Cuttack, Rourkela, Sambalpur also. All four cities have underground sewer system. But underground sewer system is not a complete solution for your liquid waste management. Why? Does it not cater to your grey water and black water? It caters or doesn't cater? It caters to grey water and black water. Then what is the problem? Stormwater, rainwater doesn't harm you much, right? You need to harvest it. Otherwise, it is a waste. Otherwise, it does not contaminate as such. Contaminants come from your fecal matter, right? The problem is that underground sewer system can never cover an entire city. It can always be a partial solution. Always, from the day, never, not even one day you can say that the city is completely 100% covered by an underground sewer system. Impossible. Because a city is ever growing. Every day you get new house, one house. Every moment there will be new addition, new family. It can never be. Underground is so complex. You can't just like that extend. So you have to have a decentralized system called septage management, septage treatment facility. So we went for that for both sewered cities and non-sewered cities. Now all 115 cities. Now it is no more 119. It is 120 FSTPs in all 115. There is no city in Odisha today which does not have a treatment facility. Not only we created facility for the urban requirements, we have also created excess capacity to manage the rural septage also. From the nearby GPs, 60% of the rural areas now are catered by the urban sanitation systems in Odisha. And Odisha has become a pioneer in urban-rural convergence in addressing the sanitation issues. And it has become a model. So decentralized, non-sewered wastewater management system is the FSTP. And again, 100% managed by exclusively by the women self-help groups and the transgender self-help groups. And yes, in the entire country. Bhubaneswar FSTP, which is on the way to Puri, Baswagai, is the largest in the entire country with 75,000 liters capacity per day. 75,000. And this is the transgender group which manages it. And these transgenders were picked up from the traffic signals of Bhubaneswar city. They were begging in the day and they were indulging in prostitution in the night. Don't be surprised when I say that, right? That's a normal activity of a transgender. Whether we know it or whether we accept it or not, the normal life is daytime begging in the toll gates and the traffic signals, and the evening time, nighttime prostitution. Because there is no other activities. That's their curse. That's how the society has cursed them. And I don't know how many of you are aware. Transgender is, if there is any unique problem for the urban areas, transgender issue is one unique problem. Which is the other unique problem? Which is unique to sanitation. Is sanitation as an urban issue? Is it unique to urban? It's universal, right? Water supply, is it unique to urban? It's an universal. What is unique to urban? Specific only to urban. A slum is an urban. You can't have a village slum. You don't get village slums in villages. It's a unique, specific to urban, exclusive to urban. Transgender is exclusive to urban. You know the reason? Why? Some of you should do a research on transgender. You should promote that. Why? Why it is urban? The moment they get to know about that actual sexual identity, they escape from the circumstances. The family doesn't accept it. It takes time for the individual to accept it. Family never accepts, hardly accepts. The society doesn't, relatives do not, the school doesn't, classroom doesn't, the teachers don't accept. Nobody wants to accept it. That's the reality. They simply escape from that. They escape to a nearby city or a larger city because community living and anonymity. They need a place where they can't be identified. Anonymity is the basic drive to push them, and then they need a community to live. So that is and the living is begging and prostitution. This is how, and they go for the moment they get some saving, they go to Mumbai or some places, or get into the hands of quacks for the sex change surgery, which is very expensive. Then they are into then lots of medication, treatment, weakness, system weakness. Life is a hell for transgender. So we got them picked up from the traffic signals, counseled them, formed into groups, they worked with them, trained them, capacitated them, and then now Cuttack's water treatment plant is managed by a transgender group. Cuttack's FSTP is managed by a transgender group. Cuttack water the transgender group which is managing the Cuttack water treatment plant has got national award as a women change maker in the entire country in sanitation, water and sanitation. And the Bhubaneswar, the lady who is in the front, Meghna Sahu, she has got award in 2023 as the Women National Award as a women change maker in sanitation by FICCI, India Sanitation Coalition. Next challenge we took is the issue of manual scavengers. Does manual scavenging exist? Does it exist or not? Who says it exists? You can be prosecuted under law. Please raise your hands. I will ask course coordinator to note down your names. It's like dowry, yes. Dowry does not exist, right? But dowry does exist. Dowry does not exist. So manual scavenging does not exist. But depth in the septic tank and the sewers networks happen, right? So you abolish something, but you don't implement, you don't enforce it, because we are not serious about it. Who is serious about dowry, right? Who is serious about sanitation workers, a particular communities dying in the septic tank? Who bothers about them, right? So we can go to Mars, we can go to Moon, right? So we can do anything, technologically so much advancement, but so we can't do a septic tank cleaning. That's impossible. Only a human being has to get into that, and 2-3 people have to die there, right? It's so difficult, so complex, and there is no technological solution. Is that right? Is that right, or is that the reality? That's the reality. So this is their living. They get into the sewer system, they get into the septic tank, and the curse is that it's almost like transgenders. The curse is that their family doesn't come close to them because they'll be stinking. How many times they have to wash themselves? From head to toe, you will have fecal matter. So we don't want to see our own shit. We flush it without seeing, right? They have to deal with that. Manually, they have to deal. They have to get into that. You will find raw shit. That's the life. That's the curse. Because they are born in a particular community. That community is cursed. There are specific communities. We have done the entire survey. We have all the details of all the manual scavengers. Complete survey has been done. So only few particular communities are involved in that. That's their curse. And the father has done it, grandfather has done it, father has done it, grandchild will do it, son will do it, grandchild will do it. It continues. Right? That's the curse. And nobody goes near them. Their grandchildren do not go because they stink. And their children, their grandchildren don't get admission in the school because they are from that particular area. They live in that slum. Even within the slum also there is that kind of, ostracism. So that's the life. That's the life. So what can you do about it? But can you live without them? In the absence of mechanization, mechanization has not happened. There is a program called manual to machine hold. But again, the implementation issues. commitment to implementation. Ultimately, it's not happening. Even now we get. Even now there are reports. Any day we'll get. Somewhere they die. So the lack of safety. The safety gears are there. Safety gears are there or not? Safety gears are there. But why they are dying? You can't wear that. Why? Because we don't make it for ourselves, we make it for somebody else. So if one satellite fails, how much is the investment? 8,000 crore or 800 crore, I don't know. Something like that. Right? How much investment has gone into the safety gears? People are dying here also. Have we invested on designing the right safety gear where they cannot die? Can't we provide oxygen when they get into it? Is it so costly? Why we are not able to do it? That's the system. That's before all of us. So that the kind of uniforms they have, the kind of helmet they have, they are not. It's not meant for them. The helmet, even in sanitation, you will see a helmet, yellow color helmet they would be wearing, isn't it? The yellow helmet is meant for construction worker. Even if a brick or some structure falls, it will not affect their head. It will protect their skull. It's a safety one. And where is the safe? That helmet is not required when you are dealing with the wet waste or dry waste in a solid waste management processing center. But you have only that. Market does not have any other helmet because nobody has invested. Resources are not going into that. And the gloves, they are touching. See, when you touch the garbage, what are all there in the garbage? What are there in the garbage? Everything would be there. Starting from condom to glass to needle to blade to sheet to everything would be there in the garbage. So they have to manually handle it. Sanitation worker. How much we are paying? Peanuts. Right? Peanuts. Peanut candy. That's all. Literally. When we started working on the manual scavenger, we realized that they are not included as a profession in any of the labor activity. You'd be surprised. Sir, it was a shock to us. It was a shock that this activity is not listed in your labor list. There is a schedule. There is a schedule. Labor law, labor act. There are schedules. Highly skilled, skilled, unskilled, all these things. So this profession is not there. So it's in the apps, they don't exist. There is no visibility for the sanitation worker. That's the problem. So in the absence of inclusion, what do? You put them in the lowest category, unskilled. So if a sanitation worker getting into a sewer system goes into that, if that is categorized as unskilled, then what is skilled? If it is unskilled, why am I not able to do it? Why can't you do it? Right? It is unskilled. Come, please come and do it. Anybody can do it. It is so unskilled. Right? But you only want those people to come and do it, but you classify them as unskilled. So this is the injustice. We don't know what kind of injustice is existing. So getting them listed as what? We got them listed as a highly skilled. From the unskilled, from invisible, take them to the top. So Garima has done that. They are now categorized as the highly skilled. When somebody objected, what is the skill set required? I said that why don't you do it? If you think that it is so easy, right? That is how we had to stop their mouth. So they are listed as skilled. Salary wages have gone 60% more by just classifying them, changing the classification. Then the safety devices, safety gears, all those things. We worked with the private sector. We worked with the research agencies. We started working why they are not wearing it, because it is so uncomfortable. Whether it is hot summer or winter, you have the same uniform, same boot. With that boot, you cannot walk. How can they get into that? Because these are all available in the market, meant for somebody else, designed for somebody else. So we started getting into it, understanding the nuances of these work, and then started designing it, trial, make about 10 pieces, give it to various groups, try, let them try for 15 days, get feedback, start correcting it. We started working on it. Iteration, 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 and whatever we have now are decent enough to wear. So you work for them, you work on the wages, you work on their mobility, you work on the family aspect, children, housing, all these things, all aspects have been covered. More than 20,000 sanitation workers, manual scavengers are covered. We have also named them as sanitation, what is that? Sewer entry professional, SEP. Sewer entry, they are also professional. Sewer entry professional, SEP. And we organized structured training program for them. Courses in the Odisha Urban Academy is certified. And we said that only the certified people can be engaged. So this is how they work, ensuring safety. Now I can confidently say we have created and put in a system by which a person who is entering into a sewer system, it is impossible to die in a sewer system today in Bhubaneswar, Cuttack sewer cities if they follow the protocol. The systems are in place. Somebody violates it, that's a different thing. It's like something like walking on a railway track. If you walk on a railway track, closing your eyes, nobody can help you. But the systems are there in place that nobody can die in the. That we could not do in septic tank. It's a much more challenge, and we started working on it. I'm sure that also would be. So this is the Garima lounge created for them because their profession demands. So how many times we take bath? Twice, madam? Once? Sometimes no. Most of the time no. Depends upon weather, right? Sometimes we say there is no need. Huh? I'm so fresh, I'm so clean, right? So average comes to about 1, say 1, right? So how many times they take bath? They take bath, head bath multiple times, 5 times, 6 times. Otherwise, they cannot come out. When they inspiration for many of us, sir. So that's the fate, that's the compulsion. It's not their wish. And many people say that these people drink a lot. Another opinion, right? We take at the end of the day, I am a teetotaler. When I say that we take, please don't include, right? So generally people say that we take wine, we take liquor. It's a status symbol, right? Social drinking, all those things. And in that light, we simply say that these fellows drink and waste their money and waste their life. It's a value judgment, right? They make just like that. You know why they drink? Without getting intoxicated, you cannot get into a sewer system. You cannot inhale that smell. That's an occupational hazard. It's an occupational compulsion that they have to get intoxicated. Rather, we need to pay for that also. For that liquor also, we are supposed to pay. There has to be something called liquor allowance to tolerate that, ideally. Right? That's the kind of occupational conditions. That's the kind of hazards we are encountering. Simply we make value statements. Right? And for them, we created this Garima lounges, air-conditioned lounges with the locker facility, with the bathroom facility, with the geyser facility, where they can get back from the work, clean them up. When they come from for the work, they can keep their dresses, change to the uniform, safety gears, go to the work, come back, then clean them up, wash them up, then change to uniform, and then go in the lunch. They can rest there. They can relax. They can have their food. They can keep their food inside. Otherwise, where were they keeping box? Near the sheet only, near the sewer system only. That was the curse. So how do you improve? How do you work with them? How do you try to mechanize? So this gentleman, how many of you know, when you are talking about a transformative journey, right? When you are on a path to improve their living, make an impact on their living. So you have to work with the community. When you talk about slum, you have to work with the slum dwellers. Water supply, you have to work with the consumer. So in terms of when you talk about the manual scavenger, you have to work with the manual scavenger, they should tell what they want. They should express what are their difficulties. It's not the perception in which my perception of them, how much I know of them. They should tell what they want. The sad part is that they don't know what they undergo. So their education is not to that level. So you have to find a representative. Here is Bayswater Wilson. Sir must be knowing this gentleman. He is Bayswater Wilson, who has been working for decades for the manual scavengers welfare. He is consulted by Supreme Court. He is consulted by Human Rights Commission, and he is an awardee of Magsaysay awardee. So we caught hold of them, and he became our advisor. The Garima has been advised by him. We asked him what is that they want. How do we improve their living? How do they transform their life? So all these things, suggestions came from him. And then when we completed the scheme, when I made a presentation before Bayswater Wilson and asked him what else does it meet your requirement? Is there anything wanting, any shortcomings? He said, whatever we have been fighting for decades, you have provided more than that. I can't ask for anything more. That is why Garima today has become the model for Government of India's scheme, Namaste. Garima is the inspiration for the national scheme, which is implemented all over the country. So, water supply. Next is the water supply is a universal problem, common for both rural and urban. The scenario few years ago was when less than 40% of the city areas were provided with the network. House connections were less than 30%. Large scale contamination, incidents of jaundice, diarrhea, waterborne diseases, hospitalization, death, all those things very common. And every assembly session there will be an adjournment motion, and there will be live PIL in the high courts, bad press all the time. These are that will tell you the water supply scenario. And JEs and executive engineers getting beaten up during summer, very common. The PHO office getting locked up, Dharna, Rasta Rok, all those things are common. The scenario is that Odisha has become the first state to provide drink from tap, direct 24/7 water supply, directly drinkable quality of water, adhering to IS 10,500 quality standards, which is equivalent to mineral water. So now 24 cities are providing, more than 26 lakh population is being supplied, including Bhubaneswar, Cuttack, Berhampur, all major cities. And state has achieved 98% of household tap connection. Only few where projects are happening are completed. Maybe in another few months, state would achieve 100%. And this is the scorecard. And this is the model this is the low cost model for the entire globe. And the organization, the VATCO, which has been created for implementing the water sector reforms, where your professor is also a board of director in the board, has been for 5 years, madam. 5 years she has been in the board. VATCO, this corporate entity which has been formed from the PHO, and the first public sector corporatized for the water utility in the entire country. Sir, sir, you can drink from the glass. So this VATCO has become the PMC consultant for Chennai City, Chennai Metro Water also. So advising on the 24/7 water supply, and our 24/7 water supply, drink from tap, has become a national policy under Amrut 2.0. DFT is a mandatory component. 500 cities today in India are implementing this drink from tap program. So these are the global recognitions we got for all these interventions. Global Water Leader Award for VATCO, UN Habitat Award for the Jaga Mission, once in 2019, and this is 2023. Another is 2019. This is the only project. This is the Jaga Mission is the world's largest slum land rights and upgradation program, and this is the only project globally which has received UN Habitat Award twice. Only project. And Asia Pacific Housing Forum for Award Innovation. This is the global award, top 5 innovation for the top 5 urban innovation for the urban wage employment program, Mukta. So in the course of this transformative journey, our experience revealed that there are several myths floating around. This slide is very important for the urban managers. This is basically to work on your belief system. We believe several things because we don't know. There are myths rather than truths. So in the water supply, what is it? People won't pay. People won't pay for service. You agree or not? People won't pay for service. Generally, that's a perception, right? They want free services. They want freebies. Even the courts are very angry about it, right? So difficult to sustain 24/7 because you can't supply what 24/7 water. Where the water will come from? If you keep on people keep on drawing water, where the water will come from, and consumption will go up, demand will go up. It becomes unsustainable. You provide 24/7 supply. It is a 24/7 leakages. Everywhere it will be leaking because our taps never get closed, right? Public taps, if you see that lever itself would have been removed. There won't be any closure also for that, closing that. Transparency, sir. Transparency and openness, complete openness in the water supply system also. That's why that our water taps provide air, not water. You can actually pump your tires there. So financially unsustainable, high capex, high opex, and huge manpower required, high skilled technical consultants would be required, and at the end you want external funding. If you get World Bank funding or ADB funding, JICA funding, then you can do it. So because it is very high costly. So our experience revealed that these are all myths, far away from the facts, and people pay provided you give quality service. Assured quality service you give, people would be willing to pay. And wherever we have supplied 24/7 water supply, our revenue collection is more than 90%. It's done by the Jalsatis, community representatives, community warriors. And demand will go up initially. It went up initially because if you give 24/7, whenever I open tap, water comes with the same pressure. I'm excited. So keep using it, right? And before that, you should put the metering. So you should know how to control it. So put the meter, household meter, engage a Jalsati in that locality who will be touching the house almost every day. Hi, hello. She will say hi, hello because she has to collect the water tax, right? The moment people know that your consumption would be measured, billed, and money collected, then you become a responsible consumer. In fact, we make them irresponsible by not putting up the meters, not serious about the collection, timely collection. We are not serious. We expect them to come to our place and pay the dues, like electricity, right? Electricity fellow can disconnect it. We can't disconnect. And disconnecting electricity is very easy. Disconnecting water supply is not very difficult. Then you disconnect the water supply. So you have to invest more than the dues to disconnect it. You have to dig it, right? You have to cut the pipe. You have to stop it. You have to put a valve there, and again they will do it. Most of the connections are illegal connections. Remember that. When we went for 100% universal coverage, we realized that the connections are not happening. We have completed the projects, invested everything. Projects closed. House connections are not improving. Numbers are not going up. Nobody is taking the connection. Why? People say that we don't want. Because they already have a connection. Right? So who gives connection? Everyone has an illegal connection, unauthorized connection. So that's the standard. Unauthorized connection, illegal connection. Who gives this unauthorized connection? They take their own. The same fellows. Remember, illegal connection is not so easy to make. Unauthorized connection. It is not a Wi-Fi connection, for your information, right? You get a OTP and then you enter the OTP, you get the connection, right? It's not a OTP connection. So it's a hardcore connection. You have to cut the road. Which road? Public road. Municipal road you have to cut, right? Cut 2 meters you have to cut. Reach the pipeline. Then you have to puncture the pipeline. Puncturing a steel pipeline is not so easy, right? It's not a paper. You have to puncture that. You need machinery for that. And you have to put a T-joint there, ferrule point there. Then you have to take the connection to your home. And we simply say that it is an illegal connection. The fellow who gives the legal connection also gives the illegal connection. The same fellow only will give. Only he knows where the pipeline goes, right? So it is the system which provides, which facilitates. Why? Why the system provide? Why they are taking illegal connection? Because the legal connection is difficult to get. Legal connection is so process driven. Lots of documents required. 14 documents were required in Odisha for getting a water supply connection. 14 documents. Pattas, darkar sir, ownership darkar sir, everything. Income. Some states ask for income tax return, IT return, land document, building plan approval, right? You ask for things which they will not have, because the intention is not to give connection, it is to reject, deny connection. That is the objective. That's how all these things are made. There are states which require 32 documents. Professor Chari ASCII has done a research on it. Found out there are states which ask for 32 documents to get a water supply connection. Any other document as and when required. If you reach 32, then they'll ask for few more. That's the approach. That the intention is not to give, to deny connection. What is the advantage? If you take an illegal connection, I get money, right? And it's a win-win situation. If you take an illegal connection, it's a one-time payment, right, to a fellow. He manages everybody. Otherwise, you have to go to municipal office, get road cutting permission. Then they'll say that the file is with JE. JE has to come and do a survey and do where exactly the pipeline, how much distance, how much depth. Then he will do a plan and estimate. There will be a separate plan and estimate for house connection. The JE will make. JE will have hundreds of other works. This is not his priority. So unless you pay him, he will not do. Right? And you have to be after him for weeks. Then he will give you that permission. Then you engage a plumber. Then you engage since you have to pay for it. The policy said that the household connection is the responsibility of the household. It's on you. So you engage a plumber. Then the plumber will get a substandard, unlicensed the plumber contractor who buys non-standard items, low quality items, cheap quality items, and then they give a connection. It takes several months. You have to pay bribes at so many levels. So instead of that, it's a hassle-free process. You pay me 50,000 rupees, I'll get everything done. Right? It's a win-win situation. It's good for you also, good for consumer, good for that person also. He will take care of all, and then he will give you connection, illegal connection, right? And then after that, you don't need to pay anything because there is no monthly fee. Doesn't get into the account. It's not an authorized connection. So it's only one-time payment. So the offer is so attractive that everybody tends to take that offer which goes for unauthorized connection, no authorized connection. So you have to do re-engineering of the whole process, understand the whole process. Then you plug everything, make it easy, free everything. And then that's how we could achieve from 30% connection to 98% connection. That's how we could achieve. So if you provide good quality, they will pay for it and doesn't cost much. Existing infrastructure can support. Wherever required, you can go for the rehabilitation, all those things. And it's a low cost, we have proved that it is a low capex, low capex, all those things. And with automation and Jalsatis, you don't need to increase the manpower and all. And this DFT model is 100% skilled in Odisha, 100% made in Odisha. We didn't have any foreign consultants, external consultants, and no foreign funding. It's a proven case. We have documented that and that is in the book form. Drink from tap book gives you all the details. So another myth to be broken by our program, which has been broken by our program, is AHAR. It's an affordable meals program where every day Odisha provides cooked meal from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock. In the cities, 167 centers are there. Bata Dalma, Achar. So there is a simple food. For 5 rupees, it is being provided. That's being done from 2015 onwards. It's a 10-year-old, 11-year-old program. And when we started, the criticism were that you are making people lazy by providing subsidy. Any subsidy, they'll say that they'll oppose. They'll say you are making people lazy. You are wasting the taxpayers' money, hard-earned money, right? So all those things, elite things, opinions, value judgments, all will come. So, and people will not go for work. they'll start depending on your food. They'll stop their kitchen. This is the criticism. So the reality is we have 1 lakh meal sanctioned. The offtake is only 80,000. 20,000 people don't come. Just because you provide 5 rupees meals at a high-end restaurant, you go and see, or how many of you have seen Baramda bus stand, Baba Saheb Ambedkar bus terminal? There is an Ahar. It provides 5 rupees food. How many have seen terminal, bus terminal? You should take them. It's one of the iconic urban project. You should expose them. You should also ask them to eat food in Ahar. You should. And pay 5 rupees for it. Then you will experience the underlying, you will experience that underlying principle is that the intervention for the poor need not be poor. The kind of infrastructure we have provided in all 167 centers, not only in Bhubaneswar, in all, whether you go to Kariyar or Nuapada, Baliguda or any interior, the same level of infrastructure services standards would be maintained. The underlying principle is that the intervention for the poor need not be poor, and they deserve dignity, they deserve empathy. And it says that poor, just because you provide, they don't close their kitchen, they don't stop working, they continue to work. It only supports. And most of you, the boys and girls who are studying here, they go and take. The rickshaw pullers, the unorganized workers, it's a great support for them. So Jaga Mission is another one. You confer land rights, you are encouraging encroachers. There will be a lot of encroachment in the city. People will start migrating from rural area because you are giving expensive land in Bhubaneswar. That was the criticism. So that again, Jaga Mission started in 2017. Today it has completed 8 years. It proved that it's all myth, far from fact. No city has experienced abnormal growth. We have data. It's a data-driven statement, and does not, just because you are giving 30 square meter of land here does not mean that people will abandon their place, abandon their livelihood, and come back here and live. So these are the in a program, in a transformative journey, you need partners. You need like-minded institutions. Government has all these things have been delivered with the deficiencies of the government. You have to augment, you have to reinforce with the support from the partner agencies, like-minded, committed people for this program. These many agencies were part of all these programs. So, and what matters is that you need a title or designation to lead. You only need to care for them. You can care. You are all future urban leaders. I leave this thought to you and close the session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I know this is a small gesture of gratitude only, but or a few words, but I don't think anybody would have anybody present here would have had that close an understanding of what has been done in the state and what has been led, spearheaded by you, as was provided today. I know we sort of overran the time a little bit, but I thought it is much better that we really understand this in detail, and not just for my own students, but I think for even those who have come from outside the state, the participants in the conference, they should understand to what detail we need to look at the issues in the urban areas if we want to solve them. And yesterday, Sir, Mr. Tripathi also told us, for one SDG, what you have to think. And imagine if we are looking at so many issues and the level of detail to which you have to go. Without much ado, I would like to request Dr. Pandey to give his views on what has been done and if he has any other thoughts to add.
Respected ACS Batanan Sahab and dear participants. In fact, you should have invited me first before him because now there is not, and not anything left to say. So nicely the real life situation has been explained, and I don't have anything to say to add. But I will have another myth broken by him, by the efforts, initiatives in Odisha. You know, UN Habitat, which gave you the award, they are the global agency on urban. And they started from 76 to 96, Habitat 2. Then Habitat 3 was held in 2016 in Quito. And they gradually realized that urbanization is happening. It is inevitable. And 2016, they said it has happened because 50% population urban become in 2007. But they said the current model is not sustainable. This was the new urban agendas guideline, which they came up in 2016, that it is not sustainable. But this myth is broken by you. It is sustainable, provided the initiatives you have taken in Odisha are followed, are scaled up, are replicated, or are adopted in the larger scenario. And in India also, there's a lot of scope to see the grant of land title. You know, Delhi is struggling since last 50 years how to address the land title issue to the unauthorized colonies which constitute 40% of Delhi population. And if you add slum, it becomes more than 50%. Similarly, Mumbai or Bengaluru, Ahmedabad has come up with one act, but I don't know to what extent it will be. But the way you gave the land rights, we should know how to uh, do similar initiative in other places. Another very good initiative taken is the urban rural convergence for water supply and sanitation projects, which was also recommended by the 15th Finance Commission when they identified 200 plus urban agglomerations and 1000 plus municipal ULBs and villages. And they said the water and sanitation treatment plant or other initiatives should be taken at a city region scale, which includes urban, rural, and more than one local body, with the mother status of the largest local body. But it could not really happen. And 16th Finance Commission is now again struggling on this point. So this is very important approach which Odisha has done, that urban rural convergence for water and sanitation issues. And another very important which the nation can learn is the poverty elevation, involving the poor in the waste management and other activities, and giving them safety, security, and honor. And if I just briefly add some points which cities are facing, you know, in the morning when I come out from my house, we use mask normally in Delhi because air quality is so bad. And if people like us, if they use mask, we feel suffocated. And we take out mask, there is a danger to get bad air. So we are nowhere. Or people like me, if I go on the road and footpath, I just get up on the footpath, my knee pains because the slope, normal thing. It's not those type of small aspects on the roads are not taken care of. Footpath, when the footpath is either encroached or if it's available, you will get hit. So particularly the children, women, senior citizens, physically challenged persons, they face this type of problem. So the mobility, urban mobility is very important area, which also adds to the pollution. And I was just seeing today that today's air quality in Cuttack is 165 AQI. Bhubaneswar is 183, Raurkela 114, and Sambalpur 97. Only Sambalpur is satisfactory. So that is because of the initially our DG sir was there. So this is another important area of attention is the air quality. and including Odisha, we all have to struggle to see that in the years to come how to uh, find suitable answer. And of course, now 25 years, or we have already covered 3 years of this Amrit Kal. We are inspiring to become developed nation, and government is coming up with initiatives like City Challenge Fund, which is again giving focus on water and sanitation, for which Odisha has come up with several examples. And health, financial health of municipal body is another very important area, which as a student of urban management, you all should further look into the aspect how cities can mobilize their own sources, how land can be used to monetize, to increase the kitty. So these are all important aspects. But certainly, the very important myth broken is the cities urbanization is sustainable, and we can add Odisha experience and other points which I mentioned, what solutions are there on each of those points, then we will have to make it sustainable. And it is very important for us because we are visioning to become a developed nation by 2047. And uh, since just 2 years after, the rural population will start declining. In 2011, first time the net increase in urban was 9 crore 10 lakh, rural was 9 crore 6 lakh. So numerically, it was more urban population. But in actual terms, after 2 years, rural will start declining. So urbanization is inevitable. We are moving towards that. So for that, whatever we heard from Vathanan Saab was very important landmark for the country to further study and adapt in a larger context. So thank you so much.
I think there is nothing to top up this discussion or this session. So we should end now. There are, oh, of course, sir.
In fact, one more myth Mati has broken, that IS officers can also work. Nice, sir. Your example, one feel privileged to be listening to you, because this Orissa used to be a case that urban nobody cares. Today it's become a case study that everybody should learn from it. And credit goes to you, sir. We were neighbors, but I never knew that you were doing so great work. Ah. Maybe that has added. But fact remains that Orissa is pioneer in such a systemic intervention, and it is not intervention in one city like a pilot. It is a statewide intervention, and therefore it need to be studied. That the political will is there, administrative acumen is there, nothing is impossible. And sir, you deserve credit for that. In fact, it is a standing ovation for each one of you. If you can, huh? Thank you.
Well, I guess as moderator, I have to have the last word. And the last word is this, that I know we are all waiting for lunch, and I'm sure sir is also waiting to sort of discuss with all of you when and whatever questions you have at some point, because I know he is more of an academic than many of us, and he is more of a committed sustainability messiah or advocate than many people who work in the urban. And as he rightly said, this is a case study which looks for many kinds of research and research into many aspects of what has been done. including critical research. I'm sure he would welcome that because that's what will enable us to go further. So it's an it's open house for research, but also for a lot of questions for all of you who want to learn further. I personally know that he's always open to connect with researchers and academics and students. So I know that he will give us the time. I'm presuming so, but I know that has been his history, that he has always been very encouraging of students and student research and other researchers. So please do connect with him. And with that, let's close the session because I know there was no time for question answer, but the person he is, he's always open to questions. So please do connect with him later and learn more about all these very, very interesting initiatives that have been taken. And very, I think, path breaking is not just interesting, it's really path breaking because certainly Garima for one, the Ahar program for another, the Mukta program, which he did not describe in detail, but my favorite has been the Garima program actually, and it needs to be taken further. Watco, of which uh, I am in some way a small part, is charged with the responsibility, and I know the his successor in the department is also very concerned about how to take it forward. So all of these programs actually need a lot of reflection and documentation and research. So I think the space is there for all of you to take it up. So thank you all. And first of all, of course, I have already thanked Mr. Mathi, but I think thank you all for also being interested in his very long, but of course, very absorbing presentation. That is what I was hoping would happen, and it has happened. So with that, let us end this session.
A heartfelt thank you to our esteemed speakers, Shri G. Mathivatanan and Shri K. Pandey, for their invaluable insights. Thank you, sirs, for a very illuminating session. A special thanks to Dr. Kajri Mishra for steering this discussion so effectively. I would now request Professor Mishra to present our distinguished speakers with a memento as a token of our gratitude.
Yes,
ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है?
Thank you. Because I must tell you that we have made Pandit work very hard, not only for this session, but for other sessions. So thank you, sir.
This marks the conclusion of our plenary session. I request you all to join us for lunch in the IC dining hall in IC2. We will meet again at 2:30 p.m. for the 4 technical sessions on urban regeneration and public spaces, sustainable infrastructure and services, policies and governance for sustainable urbanisms, and inclusive and sustainable planning. The sessions will be held in the International Center Room CR 207, 208, 229, and 232. Thank you and enjoy your lunch.